All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. And I want to just mention some stuff about ships. I want to talk about ships. I want to just, I don't know, get a few thoughts out here. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, comment down below. Guys, we hit 5,000 subscribers. Wampa will be Relic 8. We are at 3,000 subscribers. I cannot thank, 3,100, I believe. Can't thank you enough for all the love and support. Let's continue to push this channel up, guys. You all are amazing. So ships is one of the toughest grinds in the game, and that is because they are single drops, right? That you get one shard at a time compared to the characters that share their nodes where they get two shards, right? You get two shards for a character, one shard for a ship. It just takes so long. It's a very demoralizing farm when you're watching yourself get 1 or 0 shards for multiple days in a row. It just it's taxing. But there are ways to at least, I'm not going to say speed up because there's not, but there are ways to ensure that you're going to constantly make progress in ships, and that is to make sure you're farming them at all times, and 2, that you're going beyond just an arena team. So let me do an example of Executor. This is your Executor fleet lineup, right? These are the 5 ships you need for Executor. So let's say that you go and you've gotten these ships and you did all the wrecks. You got like TIE Bomber, TIE Fighter, TIE Advance. So you have the ships you need for Executor. And you're like, okay, I finished my Houndstooth. The next thing that I would recommend you do is find another ship, like say the Emperor Shuttle, that is on a similar node as far as energy goes, and start farming it. Because you've got, obviously with Executor, you've got that base of Empire fleet, so you can build an Empire fleet next. And then maybe you finish the Emperor's Shuttle, and you've got, you're like, you know what, I want to start working on my Galactic Republic fleet, so I'm going to start farming some things in here. As you're progressing through, guys, it's so important that you're looking for that next ship to farm. That don't just think that you need to be farming characters. This is like, you look at my roster, and I have so many characters that I cannot take their gear any higher. I have them at 7 stars, but I can't take their gear any higher, right? I mean, look, can't take their gear any higher, but yet, I've got them 7-star, which means that I probably spent too much time farming characters and not enough time farming ships, as I only recently just finished the Star Fortress, which was the last farmable ship that I need. So my advice for you guys is to always be farming ships, even like something like the Radis, where I have a level 1 gear 1 holdup. My Lando's Falcon is level 1 gear 1 with level 1 gear 1 pilots. But it was something that I just never got around to because of, I think it was Lando's ship was holding me up. So I finally got that and put it on farm. If I had done this sooner, I could have a 7-star Radis, and that's additional shard shop currency, whatever. But the other side here is, you think about it, if, with Zori Bliss coming into the game and maybe her ship becomes amazing under the Radis, I will be so much farther behind players who not only just had Rey, but would have a 7-star Radis with that investment in it. It's something that I'm very much aware of and nervous about, because they have been giving that Resistance a lot of love lately. And, something like the Star Fortress, if it becomes really good, you could see a huge shift in the game where players who just didn't farm this because Rose Tico is one of the pilots, you're going to be just left behind in the dust. Other examples I did want to show, if we go to our favorites here, are the Sith Fighter, the Scimitar, the Extinction Class Bomber, and the Raven's Claw. Now, the reason I have these ships called out is because they're ones that I see, like Scimitar just doesn't have a home, right? The Sith really don't have a strong, solid home. Like Extinction Class Bomber, you can at least throw in with like a Empire fleet and get some use out of it. Raven's Claw can be used with your leftover Admiral Akbar rebels, but his synergy kind of hinders him from being used as like non-scoundrel rebel ship. So it's kind of, it kind of basically says, I don't want to be used with Millennium Falcon and Dash Rendar, which means you're never using it with Profundity. So I don't know, it's one of those cases, I think, that we just haven't seen yet what the purpose of Raven's Claw truly is. And I think if you're not farming this ship in the end game, you're going to be hurt. If you're an early game player, the advice that I said earlier about after you finish your bounty hunters, work on like a fleet like your Empire or Galactic Republic, that you're constantly moving between those fleets and finishing them off, because eventually all of these ships come back and make a difference. One of the best examples I can think of for myself is with the Extinction class bomber. I started farming it after multiple GACs. Again, I covered this in a video, but multiple GACs where I was losing because I didn't have this ship. And then now it's part of my counter fleet to Profundity. And that is a huge boost for my account compared to somebody who's at the same stage as me who doesn't have that ship. Another one would be something like the First Order, where I went and farmed High Echelon. Even if I wasn't able to beat Executor, a 7-star Executor, because I just didn't have the right gear levels or mod levels, whatever. But I was at least have this ship that if something happens, that maybe, I get an influx of gear or something, but this fleet got infinitely better because I have that Echelon. So my advice, guys, you need to be constantly farming ships. As soon as you finish one, move on to farming another ship. Don't think of it as, oh, I have time to farm another character. Farm a ship. Ships don't need gear, right? They don't need gear. They need ability materials and they need credits, but they don't need gear. And the pilots need the gear, but think about how many pilots here are requirements for something. So Kyle Katarn is, so if we go off of this first row right here, the first row of characters, you have 2 Galactic Legend requirements for Sith Eternal, and then you have a Starkiller requirement. In this next row, you have 3 Sith Eternal requirements here, right? You have a Executor and Jabba the Hutt requirement, and then you have Jabba and Jedi Master Luke requirements. You go to the next ship, Kylo Ren's Command Shuttle. All of these are Supreme Leader Kylo Ren requirements. TIE Silencer, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Profundity, Executor, and this Houndstooth you also need for Finalizer and Radis to unlock, so that kind of helps you again. Executor requirement here. BAM is not necessary for any other farm. Jedi Knight Anakin is a Sith Eternal requirement. 5s is not required for anything, but you do need them for the Kiting Money mission. 2 of these 3 characters are needed for Profundity. Again, I don't want to keep going on down the list. You can do the rest of the stuff yourself, but you kind of see with those Galactic Legend requirements that a lot of them end up being pilots for fleets. And so if you have that ship, this is kind of one of those things that I really like to point out to people. Say you build up your TIE Silencer, and that you've got like a Gear 8, Kylo Ren Unmasked, but you have a 7-star TIE Silencer. Then you start farming for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. This ship only gets better and better and better, and you get more and more use out of it. And that's where I think the beauty of ships lies. You see, unlike a character where a Gear 8 character really isn't going to do anything in your roster. I mean, even myself, I'm using a Ghost. Now, Hera's obviously Profundity requirement, but like my Kanan is Gear 8, and my, where's Zeb at? Zeb is also Gear 8, along with my K2, who's Gear 8, who I use in the Cassian ship. But I use this ship every single day in Fleet Arena, along with my Phantom 2, who low gear pilots. If I get them to relics, my fleet gets infinitely better, right? Or not infinitely better, but it gets significantly better. But I'm still able to climb without it. Now, if I didn't have this ship 7-star, I wouldn't have Profundity. So that's kind of the, if you could really sum up this video in like one part, that's it right there. A ship is still usable even with lower gear pilots. You can still get away with using it. It can be cleanup, whatever. As long as you've got the stars on it. If you don't have the stars on it, it's just not usable, and it's going to hurt you in the long run if you don't farm ships. If you don't pay attention to them, they will come back with a vengeance. So that's the video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. As always, smash that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.